3 years ago, I was earning a lot less than I am now, and I'd like to talk to you today about how I more than 10x my income. My name's Andrea. I am an international voice, mindset and business coach. I'm a certified positive psychology coach, best-selling author, member of the Forbes Coaches Council, and I'm also an international speaker. So let's talk about this. You will see lots of claims being made by lots of people who are talking to you about how they 10x their income and how they changed everything. Well, this is the thing. I'm a living example of somebody who really did. And I'm going to give you figures, and this is scaring me even talking about it, and I'm still going to do it because I think it's really important. 3 years ago, I was earning £40,000 a year as a salary that I was paying myself from one of the companies that I had. That was my income, and within 2 years, that income changed to over £400,000 a year. And I did it in a very specific way. It was quick because I changed my business model, and it was quick because I got support, and it was quick because I had my line in the sand moment. Okay, so if you're watching this, it's likely that you have either stumbled on this or you're searching about how to make a change in your financial situation, in your life or business, okay? And I was certainly in that place. And I was in a place of feeling like Cinderella in my business. Literally, Cinderella hit me at one time. There I am in my business, working really hard, doing well. I had an amazing business. And, it did such amazing things for such amazing people. And it was a service industry business, which meant that my profit levels weren't where I wanted them to be. It meant that I had a nice salary. It was quite comfortable. I had a nice salary. I could pay my bills, but I didn't feel like a CEO. I didn't feel like the director. I didn't feel like the person who'd been running businesses for 15 years. I wanted more, and I knew I was meant for more. And the first thing that I needed to do when I wanted change was I needed to give myself permission. Now, I was very new to the online coaching space back then when I had this moment. I've been a coach for nearly 30 years, and I've had great successes with thousands and thousands and thousands of people. And I still didn't really understand the concept of permission and giving myself permission. This was a new concept for me. And for me, I wasn't able just to say, I give myself permission to move forward and make lots of money. No, that didn't happen for me. Actually, for me, I needed to have my back against the wall. I needed to have my line in the sand moment. I needed to get to the space where I just went, enough. I've had it. I'm not available for this anymore. I'm not going to do this anymore. Something needs to change. And what I realised was the frustration that I had over the amount of hours that collectively both me and my team were working, and the financial reward that we were getting didn't match the emotional reward. We had massive emotional return in our business, and our customers had a huge amount of financial return, but we didn't. And I had enough. I was fed up with it. So I drew a line in the sand and I said, not anymore. I'm not doing it anymore. And the moment that I did that, I started looking for help. And when I started looking for help, I found a coach. In fact, I looked at 2 or 3 coaches, but I found one coach. And this woman changed my life. I didn't even know that I was going to be working with her to take my coaching business online. And it's fascinating because that's exactly what I did. And within a year, I had just over doubled my income. I wanted to triple it, but actually I made £97,000 in the first year of working with that coach. So I 10x pretty much my investment with her, and I more than doubled my income that year. And then the second year, it more than doubled again. And within about 6 months after that, I hit the golden number, which was just over £450,000. And the way that I did it was, to begin with, I did it kicking and screaming. I wasn't clear. I wasn't probably the best client because I kept on resisting the change. I knew that something was wrong with my business model. And that's not to say there's anything wrong with service industries. There isn't. It's just that for me, I wanted to build some scale. So I needed to move from a bricks and mortar business model into a scale model. And that was the first thing that I did. So I looked at scale models and I looked at where could I leverage my time? Because the biggest thing that I realised I was doing was trading my time for money. And I've been doing that for many years. And for a long time, I loved it. And it got to the stage where I needed to work a bit smarter. And for me, that was really important. So the first thing was changing the business model. The second thing was niching. And I fought this like nobody's business. I did not want a niche. I had worked with so many different people over the previous 20 some years and got great results with all different types of people: teenagers, men, women, entrepreneurs, professionals, people who were out of work, mothers, all kinds. And my coach kept on saying to me, you've got a niche, and I think you need to niche into women. And I kept on saying, I'm not niching into women. I work really well with men, and I work really well with teenagers. And I fought it, 9 months I fought it for, and finally I niched. And I niched in the September. And I kid you not, in the first September I niched. A month later, I think I made my first 12 grand on my first coaching course. And within 2 months, I made another 80 grand. And that is not a coincidence. That is because I got clear on my ideal customer and I started talking to them. So instead of being on social media and talking to nobody, instead of having adverts and talking to everyone, I got really clear and I started specifically speaking to the pain points and to the desires and to the people who would resonate with me, because I was talking to them about my personal experience and I was being brave enough to move forward. And I had to give myself permission to do it because I was scared. I was scared of judgment from other people, from people who loved me, from people who knew me. I was scared of judgment from people who didn't know me. And I needed to move through that imposter syndrome because it was holding me back. I had expertise and I had experience, which was vast, and it worked. And what I needed to do was stand on that instead of standing on my fear, and instead of standing on playing small, and instead of standing on just being okay with my lot and just thinking there was nothing else I could do. So I changed it. I changed the story. And so that's the other thing. Give yourself permission to pivot. And, it sounds easy when I'm saying it like this, but actually it's quite hard pivoting. When your identity is wrapped up in one set of activities and a certain way that you make money, to give yourself permission to pivot into another way of serving people or making money or whatever it is that you choose to do, give yourself permission to do it. And understand that when you pivot, it's a test. Everything's a test in business, guys. Everything. And I've been in business now for 20 years and I can tell you, hand on heart, it's always a test. So have the guts to have a test. We call it in business an MVP, a minimum viable product. Well, that could be you. It could be a service that you're providing. It could be a course. It could be an online offering. It could be, an e-commerce platform. It could be a little pop-up shop that you've got. It could be anything that you're servicing, anything that you're selling, anything that you're offering. Trial it. Let yourself fail. Let yourself make mistakes. Okay, so I drew a line in the sand. I got fed up, which gave me permission to move forward. I got support. I got a coach, and then I niched. And then the next thing I did, unapologetically, was I started to work consistently. And don't get me wrong, startup businesses take a lot of time. They eat time unless you've got a certain model. And I know some people do, but for me, I'm a grafter. So I put my pedal to the metal and I started getting consistent. I started taking regular aligned action. I stopped being a busy fool. I stopped doing all the things that everybody else was doing. And I looked at what I needed to do in order to get to the goal that I wanted to quickly. And that main thing for me was getting visible, and it was in a very specific way. So for me, it was about speaking, and it was about speaking in other people's platforms. So the way in which I literally made my first 250 grand in my online coaching business in the first year and a half that I was working was by speaking in other people's masterclasses and in other people's masterminds. And it was by getting myself known in that way. And then when I set up my course, I then, I paid those people a dividend for introducing me to those wonderful people who became my clients. And that's how it started. And I've never looked back. And now that's what I teach to people. And I can tell you now, you give yourself permission to change direction. Give yourself permission to get brave and bold. Get yourself some support. Niche. Take aligned, consistent action. And I bet you're going to see a difference way quicker than you realise. Give it a try. See what happens. And I'm looking forward to seeing you 10x your income too.